8 days ago, Triumph launched a new motorcycle in India, the Speed 350. It looks exactly like the Speed 400 they've been selling since 2023. Same frame, same brakes, same suspension, same gearbox, same everything. Except the engine is smaller. Not because the smaller engine is better, not because the riders asked for it, because of a tax law. And that one decision by a 120-year-old motorcycle racing brand reveals something about the global motorcycle and car industry that nobody is saying out loud. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what I mean, and you will never look at engineering the same way again. Let's go. Let me give you the full picture quickly because it matters. Triumph Motorcycles is not a budget brand. They won 30 Isle of Man TT races before 1975. Their engines powered land speed records. The Steve McQueen motorcycle chase in The Great Escape? Triumph. Tom Cruise has done his fair share of missions on the Triumph Speed Triple. This is one of the most storied brands in racing history. And in 2023, they did something genuinely exciting for India. They partnered with Bajaj, built a world-class 400cc motorcycle here in Pune. The Speed 400. Brilliant engineering. The motorcycle press loved it. I test rode the Scrambler X myself and thoroughly enjoyed the throttle response on gravels. So, what changed? This. India's GST structure. Motorcycles below 350cc attract 18% tax. Above 350cc, 40%. Not 28, not 30, 40%. That single number makes the same motorcycle lakhs more expensive. So, Triumph, in partnership with Bajaj, took their 399cc engine and reduced it. Not for power, not for performance, not for the rider, for the tax bracket. The Speed 350 produces slightly less than the Speed 400. It costs less to own. And it represents something that the auto industry does constantly and almost never talks about honestly. Engineering bending to economics. Not to physics, not to performance, not to safety. To a line in a government document. India's GST structure. Now here's why this should interest you even if you don't own a Triumph or thinking of buying one. Because this exact mechanism, external pressure reshaping engineering decisions, is not new. It has happened before many times in racing, in road cars, in safety technology. And every single time it happens, it follows the same pattern. Today, I'm going to show you that pattern. Starting with the most dangerous sport in the world and ending with the motorcycle or car you might buy next year. May 1994, Formula 1, Imola, Italy. 2 drivers died that weekend. Roland Ratzenberger on Saturday, my hero Ayrton Senna on Sunday. Senna was the best driver alive. 3 world titles, 41 race wins, a Brazilian national hero. And he was just 34 years old. The crash that killed him happened at 192 miles per hour. His Williams car hit a concrete wall with no energy absorption, no modern barrier technology. And the sport changed immediately. The FIA identified 27 high-risk corners across F1 circuits. Cockpits were redesigned, helmets rebuilt, circuits reconstructed. Between Senna's death in 1994 and Jules Bianchi in 2014, not a single driver died during a Formula 1 Grand Prix weekend. 20 years, the fastest racing on earth. No deaths. That is an extraordinary achievement. But here's what happened at the same time. Lap times kept falling. Cars kept getting faster. A modern Formula 1 car is heavier than Senna's 1994 car and faster around the same circuits. Heavier and faster simultaneously. Because the engineering that made survival possible at 192 miles per hour also gave engineers permission to build cars that corner at forces physically unsurvivable a decade earlier. Safety technology did not slow racing down. It gave engineers the permission slip to go faster. This is the paradox at the heart of this episode, and it has a name. Researchers call it the Peltzman effect. An economist named Sam Peltzman studied what happened when America introduced mandatory seatbelt laws in the 1970s. His finding? Drivers who felt safer in the car drove faster and took more risks outside it. The safety improvement for the person inside the car transferred the risk to everyone else on the road. The same thing happens in racing. A peer-reviewed study found that a 10% improvement in NASCAR car safety produces a 2% increase in reckless driving. Safer cars, riskier drivers. The system adapts to the new flow and then pushes toward the new ceiling. Quick question. Have you ever driven faster on a highway because your car felt stable? Or pushed a corner slightly because you trusted the ABS? That's it. That's the Peltzman effect. You've been living it. Now watch what it does at 300 km per hour. February 2001, Daytona final lap. Dale Earnhardt, 7-time NASCAR champion, the Intimidator. His car touched a wall at what looked like a routine speed. Drivers had survived worse. He died instantly. Basilar skull fracture. The specific injury where the seatbelt holds the body and the head keeps moving forward, wrenching the skull against the spine. It is immediate. It is fatal. And in the 10 years before Earnhardt died, 17 other professional racing drivers had died of the exact same injury. 17. There was a device that prevents it. The hands, head and neck support. A carbon fiber collar that connects the helmet to the harness. It had been available for nearly a decade. NASCAR had not mandated it, and Earnhardt had refused to wear it. When asked why, he called it, quote, a damn noose. Here's the number that makes this impossible to forget. In the 10 years before Earnhardt's death, 350 Hans devices sold. In the week after, 350 Hans devices sold. Same device, same injury it prevents, same sport, 7 days changed everything. Not 17 deaths over 10 years, not safety research, not awareness campaigns, the visibility of one specific, famous death. NASCAR mandated Hans device 9 months later. And here is the uncomfortable question that follows. What took 17 deaths to accomplish required one famous death to actually happen. I'm not saying Dale Earnhardt was wrong for his choice. He was a professional who understood his sport more deeply than almost anyone alive. His resistance was cultural. It was rational within the culture he operated in. The culture was what was wrong. And cultures change in racing the exact same way as they change in every other industry. When the cost of not changing becomes visible and public and impossible to ignore. If you can draw a parallel with episode 6 here, comment down below. (2020) Bahrain Formula 1. Romain Grosjean's car hits a barrier at 119 miles per hour. The car splits in two. Fuel ignites. Grosjean is trapped inside a fireball. He spent 28 seconds in that fire. 28 seconds. And he walked away with burns on his hands. Nothing else. Because of 4 technologies working simultaneously. The survival cell, the Hans device, the fireproof suit, and the halo. The titanium arc above the cockpit that drivers called ugly. Fans called ugly. And the FIA had actually delayed introducing it because it made getting out of the car harder. James Allison, the Mercedes director who helped design it, Set on record at launch in 2018, the Halo doesn't remove all risk. And in fact, this design, in small ways, increases certain specific risks. The driver will find it harder to get out of the car as quickly. He was right. Grosjean's extraction time is supposed to be 10 seconds. He took 28 because his boot was stuck in the deformed pedal box. He left his boot inside the burning car and climbed out. The Halo saved his skull, and the Halo made getting out harder. One safety innovation, one new survival problem it created. The loop does not close, it rotates. Let me show you the pattern now, because it is the same pattern every time. In racing, an external pressure arrives, a death, a lawsuit, a new regulation. Engineering response, the sport gets safer. And then performance catches up. And then the next external pressure arrives. The safety improvement never eliminates the underlying cycle. It just resets where the cycle starts. Senna died in 1994. Safety overall. Cars get faster. Bianchi dies in 2014 at the highest G-force ever recorded in Formula 1. 17 drivers die of one specific fracture. Earnhardt dies. Hans mandated. Drivers push harder into corners. Grosjean survives 67G. Engineers design against that specific scenario. Cars go faster. External pressure. Engineering response. Performance catches up. New external pressure. Around and around. The sport is not defeating the cycle. It is powering it. Now bring it back to April 6th, 2026. Triumph Motorcycles, Pune, India. A 120-year-old racing brand. An engine that has been shrunk from 399cc to below 350cc. Not because the smaller engine is better, not because 350cc is safer, because a line in the GST regulations makes motorcycles above 350cc 22 percentage points more expensive to manufacture for Indian roads. External pressure. Engineering response. The same mechanism, different pressure. Not safety this time, tax. But the same underlying reality. Engineering in the real world is not purely about performance. It is always a negotiation with the external forces that surround it. Whether those forces are a fatal crash at Imola in 1994 or a government tax circular in New Delhi in 2026. Here's what I want you to carry out of this episode. The next time you read a spec sheet or watch a launch video or see a motorcycle claim it is the best version yet, ask, what external pressure shaped that claim? Is it genuinely the best engineering? Or is it the best engineering that fits within the current tax bracket, safety regulation, and fuel economy standard? Because those are different questions. And the automotive industry will never answer the second one unless you learn to ask it. Triumph's Speed 350 is a brilliant motorcycle at a lower price point. It is also a perfect example of industry bending engineering to economics. Not because anyone is being dishonest, but because this is how this industry has always worked. And now you know it too. I'm Ashutosh. This is the Gear Chronicles, Engineering, Emotion, Evolution. If this changed how you read an engine spec, subscribe. Because next Tuesday, I'm going to show you something that will make you think twice about every connected feature in your next car or bike. Your car is collecting data about you right now, even when switched off. Where you go, how you drive, whether you drive late at night. And in at least one documented government case, that data was sold to your insurance company without your knowledge. The full story, 21st April. See you there. Thank you for watching.